Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Howdy. My name is Jacob Robinson, as Corbin said, class of 2011. And yes, Corbin is correct. You are welcome that you have Pepsi products on this campus. A&M, we talk all the time about legacy, right? We talk about all the time, we want to leave a legacy, leave a mark, whether it be here at Texas A&M or in your future endeavors, and I did it, right? You hate me because you drink Pepsi, so therefore I've left a legacy, right? So my senior year, I got elected student body president. I got a phone call from the president of the university. He said, hey, I need you to meet me in this building outside of campus. You're going to sign an NDA. I didn't know what an NDA was at that time. And I said, sure, sounds good. We went to this room, kind of a secretive room. And he said, hey, listen, we're deciding if we're switching from Coke to Pepsi. We're going to hear all these pitches. I thought, okay, sounds amazing. We heard all these pitches. It went on for a couple of weeks. We made the decision to go with Pepsi. To us, it was a no-brainer. And then he said, hey, I've got a great idea. Why don't you email all the students and let them know that we've made this change? I said, that'd be a fantastic idea. I'd love that opportunity. Thank you. Because I'd seen the inside of the deal, right? I go, oh my goodness, they're going to love me. They're going to thank me. I'm going to be a hero. It's going to be awesome. Typed up this email, pressed send, and then it started. Just emails that I still have. Somehow they found my personal email account too. I've got them in my personal email account, and I've got them in my old A&M account of just hatred, just pure hatred of how people felt about us switching from Coke to Pepsi. So yes, I say all that to say you are welcome. And if you want to discuss it afterwards, I think it's somebody else's problem now because I think they've renewed the contract, so it's not my fault anymore. But it is still once a football season, once a baseball season, mainly from some of those guys in the back. I will get a text message with them beside a Pepsi fountain with a middle finger or some other explicit word. So anyways, that is who I am. I did get to serve as, like I said, student body president here at Texas A&M. My degree does not exist anymore here from A&M. I learned that a couple months ago. The university did not think it was hard enough, I guess. And so they got rid of it. So I am an ag major is what I have to say now. I graduated from the ag school, and I loved my time here at A&M. Met my wife here. We'll talk about them in a little bit. But I love this university. I love being here with you. The reason we get up, the former students that are here, the speakers that are here, the reason we got up early this morning to drive from wherever we came from is because of you. Not because we want to see each other. We get to see each other in Houston or Dallas or wherever it may be, but solely because of you. The reason I'm excited to be here today and I'm honored to be here today is because I get to talk to a group that's like-minded, right? You're here today because you have some bent, some idea, maybe some desire to be this crazy concept called an entrepreneur, right? You are driving towards entrepreneurship. My hope and my prayer by the end of the day today is that you leave with clarity. That you leave with clarity that, oh, I do want to go chase something. Or, no, maybe I'm not wired that way. And I'm here to tell you, whatever you decide today is perfect. Take all the pressure off, right? Take all the pressure off, because if you leave today and you go, man, I don't know if I'm wired that way, and you start telling yourself you're a failure because of that, you've missed it. I tell people all the time, if life is a spectrum and personalities are a spectrum, over here, you've got my amazing, beautiful wife who hates change, hates it. She's a CPA. She graduated from the Mays School here. Hates change. Hates when our kid is going to graduate and go to the first grade. Like, we don't like that kind of change, right? Doesn't like change. Then you've got me over here on the other side where if I'm doing the same thing 2 days in a row, pluck my eyeballs out, right? And wherever you fall on this spectrum is totally fine. That's exactly who I need you to be. That's exactly who you are wired to be. And so today, as you go throughout the day, maybe you go, yeah, I am on this side of the spectrum. Great, awesome. Maybe you're somewhere in the middle. Maybe you're over here and you're going, yeah, I don't think I want to do that. That doesn't sound appealing to me. Fantastic. Truly, truly fantastic. But if you go through today and you leave today and you hear me talk, you hear my buddies talk, you hear other people talk, and you go, if I'm not like them, I have failed, you've missed it. So today, I hope you leave encouraged. I hope you leave inspired, and I hope you leave a little bit more finding out about how you are wired. That's my hope and my prayer today. So let's start. This is my family. Told you about him a second ago. This is my amazing wife. She's class of 2011 with me. I came into school and I was going to play it cool, right? I said, I'm not going to date anybody. I'm not going to date anybody freshman year, right? I got to play the field, see what's out there. We started dating freshman year, got married 4.5 years later. We did break up one time senior year. We have confirmed. We're pretty confident because I said something stupid. And we broke up for about 15 to 20 minutes. After that, we got back together, and all is good. So we got married in 2012 and moved to Houston. Like I mentioned, she's a CPA, and so she had a real job. And so we moved to Houston, and I just tried to figure out what to do from there. We have 3 amazing kids. I'll talk about one of them here a little bit today. Pierce, my oldest, he's there in the middle in the wheelchair. He's 10 years old, one of the coolest kids you'll ever meet. We'll talk about him. My daughter, Annie, there is 6. She'll tell you she's 6.5, not just 6. It's very important when you're 6 years old. That half marker is serious business. She is all sports and all dresses and all the things. She's got in, proud dad moment. She got selected as one of 12 students at her elementary school to be in the Katy ISD art show, ISD-wide. So proud dad moment. Not an artist at all. We don't know where she got it from. So we're excited to go and see that. Then my son there, my wife Holden, Spencer, he's 2 years old. And, you know, we always say we're just not quite sure about him yet. I think he'll like me one day. But he is a mama's boy through and through. He's our personality. He's our jokester. He's just a whole bunch of fun sometimes. And so he rounds out the group there. And then if life wasn't busy enough or crazy enough with 3 kids and a company and all this kind of stuff, my wife and I, we got the chance to go to New York last year. It was in September. We were sitting in Central Park and we were watching all these amazing, it was nice weather outside. It was like a movie, right? It was a movie. That's what happens is it gets you, like everything's idealistic, right? It's just beautiful. All these people kept running by with dogs and we go, we need a dog, don't we? And so we came back home and we got a golden retriever puppy. And so, man alive, life is already crazy. And then you throw in a golden retriever puppy who eats everything and destroys everything. Life is chaotic right now at the house. Life is chaotic. But that's my amazing family. And like I said, we'll talk about them today. This gentleman right here, this gentleman may be out of some of your knowledge base if you're a little bit younger, but you feel the impact of this gentleman, whether you know it or not, and you've seen his company, whether you know it or not. This gentleman's name is Drayton McLean. So my dad retired in 2020. He was he's a hospital administrator. He decided COVID was a good time to tap out of the healthcare business. And he said, I'm going to retire. And so I gave him a couple weeks off and I said, hey Dad, I got this idea. You're at home, I'm at home. We don't get to see each other that much anymore. Why don't we create a father-son podcast where we just talk to our network? We'll just talk about leadership and faith and the intersection of it. And we'll just see what happens, right? We'll just go through interviews. It'll be fun. 5.5 years later, we're still doing this. But one of our guests along the way, the show is called Chasing What Matters. One of the guests along the way was this guy right here named Drayton McLean. Drayton is a billionaire. He used to own the Houston Astros. He owns a large company called McLean Trucking. You've seen it on Highway 6. Have you ever driven around? It's just big 18-wheelers that says McLean on it. But you have felt the impact of Drayton McLean. I thought I knew the story of Drayton McLean. Drayton became Drayton because a guy named Sam Walton became Sam Walton. Sam Walton is the founder of Walmart, right? Drayton started out as his exclusive grocer, meaning he was going to do all the groceries for all of Walmart starting out. And so I've always thought the story of Drayton McLean and Drayton McLean became who he is because he caught this early vision of Sam Walton and said, man, let's go build this empire together. But what I learned on the show is it was the opposite. Sam called Drayton and said, hey, I've got this idea. We're going to build a 24-hour grocery store, and I want you to be my sole grocer. And Drayton said, Sam, I love you. That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. He said, think about it. I'll call you back. A couple weeks later, Sam calls back. He says, hey, Drayton, I've got this idea. It's going to be a 24/7 grocery store. It's going to be amazing. We're going to take over the world. You be my grocer. He says, hey, Sam, I'd already told you. It's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Nobody's ever going to buy groceries at midnight. Nobody's ever going to buy groceries at 8 p.m. What are you talking about? This is a terrible idea. And so finally, Sam got smart. Sam went to the decision maker in the company. He went to Drayton's wife. And he said, hey, listen. He flew to Temple. Drayton was at work. He goes to Drayton's house. He says, hey, listen, here's the deal. I've got this idea. And Drayton just needs to trust me and do it. I need you to convince him to do it. She said, okay, I'll try. Drayton comes home from work. She says, hey, honey, Sam was here today. He goes, what do you mean Sam was here today? She said, he came in and told me about this idea of this grocery store that he has. I think you should do it. He said, honey, listen, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. It's not going to work. And she said, I think you should do it. He goes, fine, I'll tell you what. We'll do it. We'll do it. Can't hurt, right? But we'll do it. It's not going to go anywhere, but we'll do it. Sam Walton became Walmart, and Drayton McLean became Drayton McLean. I tell you that story because some of you in here today are sitting here and you've got a crazy idea. You're going to hear about my crazy idea in a minute. But you're sitting here and you're going, man, I've got a crazy idea. And people around you are going, it's not going to work. It's never going to work. You may even have professors telling you it's not going to work. Drayton McClain, who's a billionaire, told his buddy Sam Walton it was never going to work. So I tell you that as an encouragement, right? As an encouragement that some of the greatest minds out there, Drayton McClain is a genius. He's a business tycoon in his own right. Forget Sam Walton for a second. In his own right, he already had a major company. And yet he still didn't see the early vision of what Walmart was going to be. So even the smartest people around you sometimes don't catch your vision. So I tell you that to tell you if he can miss it, other people around you can miss it as well. All right? So when we were ending the podcast, Drayton said, hey guys, before we go, can I leave you with a couple points of wisdom that one of my professors taught me? Yeah, would love to, Drayton. You can tell me anything you want to. I'll stay here for 5 hours if you want to. And so I tell you that to say the story of Drayton McClain, but the 3 points that I'm going to walk you through now that show my story is something that Drayton McClain taught me. First point we're going to talk about today, dare to dream. It's free. Mike Tomlin, the former coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, he says, when we were kids, we dreamed wildly. As we grow up, we dream realistically. We shouldn't. I got where I am today by being a ridiculous dreamer. Guys, you're at one of the greatest universities in the world. I'm biased. I know, I get that. So I'll just say one of, all right? Not the. One of the greatest universities in the world. You get all the opportunities in front of you to dream crazy dreams. And it costs you nothing to dream crazy dreams. Today, as you go throughout the day, and today as you sit in round tables and you hear other speakers and you hear them talking about financing projects or finding an investor, whatever it may be, I want you to tap into that craziest dream that you have. The one that right now, I'm not going to do it, but right now, if I said turn to the person to your left and your right and tell them that dream, you actually wouldn't tell them. Because it's that crazy. That's what I want you to lean into. Because at some point in life, you're going to come to the intersection of making a decision or not. And that's what happened to me, right? In 2015, my oldest son was born. You saw a picture of him there, Pierce. He was born in May 2015, and life was great. Pierce was born, happy, healthy baby boy. All was awesome. We were trying to figure out how to be new parents, right? Everybody kept telling us kids cry all the time, and it's tough, and they're right. But life was good. We had just started my first company, and we were trying to figure out this cleaning business, and my wife had an amazing job, and life was good. I remember it was late January, and I was on the phone with a buddy that I'll see today. I remember I was driving down I-10. It's funny how you can remember things like this. And I just remember saying, hey, life is good right now. Life's good. Nothing crazy going on. We figured out how to make money in the business, and Pierce is good, and Melissa's good. Life's good. First week in February 2017, on a Wednesday, Pierce got sick. Just normal kid cold, right? Nothing big, nothing crazy. First time he got sick, though, so we were a little concerned as parents, rightfully so. Melissa takes him into the pediatrician. The pediatrician says, hey, he's good. Looked at his ears, looked at his throat. All's fine, right? All's fine. Take him home. If he has a fever still in 48 hours, why don't y'all come on back? Goes home Thursday. Got a little bit better on Thursday. Friday comes, he got worse again. Melissa takes him back to the doctor again. He says, hey, no, I still stand by what I said on Wednesday. He's good. Just a kid cold. He just needs rest, right? I come home from work late Friday evening, and as a parent, some of you in this room are parents, and a lot of you will be parents one day. You'll get this special superpower with your kids that I didn't know existed. You can look in their eyes and tell if they're sick. It's crazy. Like you can just tell they got sick eyes, right? Like, but you can see it as a parent. I remember I came home. Melissa said, "Just look at him. I think he's not doing well." I looked. I said, "Yeah, I agree with you. He's not doing well. Let's take him into the ER right outside our neighborhood." So we got in the car, went to the little ER right outside our neighborhood, and they're set up for broken bones and rolled ankles and that kind of stuff. We take him in. They said, "Hey, no, we agree with your doctor. He's got a cold." I'll never forget. They gave us a blue bottle of Pedialyte. They said, "Hey, just have him drink this and get some rest." All right, cool. We don't know anything. I'm not a doctor. Sure, let's go home. We go home, put her to bed. Next morning, Saturday, February 4th, 2017, a day I'll never forget. It's about 8:30 in the morning. Pierce had slept a little bit longer than he normally has. And so Melissa, as a good mother, said, "Hey, listen, I need to go ahead and check on him. I don't think something's not right." I can tell you everything about that morning. I can tell you I was wearing an A&M pullover. I can tell you I was wearing black Nike shorts. I can tell you I was barefooted. I can tell you the pajamas Melissa was wearing. I can tell you what I was watching on TV. I can tell you everything about that morning. Because when she walked into his room, I heard a scream that I hope to never hear again in my life. Coming from Melissa, she ran out carrying Pierce, and Pierce was completely limp. And when I say limp, I'm talking like in a movie, falling over limp, right? Eyes rolled back in his head. She started screaming, "He's dead. I think he's dead. I think he's dead." We would get in the car. We'd go back to that ER right outside our neighborhood. I remember rushing in. I remember screaming, just keep him alive. Please just keep him alive. And they go in, and they're not equipped for this. And so they start pumping it full of drugs and medicine. Finally, 15, 20 minutes later, an ambulance comes to that ER. They're going to take us to Texas Children's West Campus in Katy, where I live in Houston. We get to the Texas Children's West Campus, and they start doing scans. And I remember a doctor standing there looking at an image on a screen. He said, we've got to get this kid down to the med center. The med center in Houston, downtown, that's the big hospital. That's where you need to go if something's really, really bad. And so they call this unit called the Kangaroo Crew. If you're from Houston, you might have seen the Kangaroo Crew. The Kangaroo Crew, to me, I always equate it to the Navy SEALs. If you work at Texas Children's Hospital, you're like a Navy SEAL to me. You're awesome. You're like the top of the top, in my opinion, right? If you're on the Kangaroo Crew, you're like SEAL Team 6. You're like another level up, and nobody wants to see you, right? Like those kind of crew. Like if somebody sees you, something bad's going down. That's the Kangaroo Crew. They're an ICU transport team to take high-risk kids back to the hospital. So they come, and Tony, I'll never forget, Tony, the driver, he comes, he grabs me, he says, hey, Dad, I need you to listen to me. He grabs my shoulders. I need you to get in your car. I need you to follow me. I'm going to take Mom and Pierce with me in the ambulance. We're going to go down to the med center. What I would later learn from Tony is that he then got in the ambulance, front seat, looks at his partner over here, and he said, that dad's not going to see his kid alive by the time we get to the med center. Luckily, Tony was wrong. We get to the med center. They rush us in. They start running a bunch of tests. They come back out a couple hours later. They say, hey, good news, bad news. Good news, we know what it is. Bad news, we know what it is. He's contracted bacterial meningitis. He's contracted the worst kind. He'll be lucky if he makes it 48 hours. And I said, okay, what do we do? They said, you wait, you pray. So we waited, we prayed. Sunday came, got a little bit better. Monday came, got a little bit better. On Monday afternoon, they said we're going to transport us out of the ICU unit to a step-down unit. So me, the entrepreneur, the business guy, the box checker, right, the achiever, wanted to get things done. I go, that's good, that's good. Step-down unit, then we're out of here, right? Remember we were leaving the ICU, and the doctor grabbed me on the shoulder, and he said, hey, I need you to listen to me. I don't think you're out of the woods yet. And I remember thinking, I'm a positive thinking guy. I remember thinking, I don't want to hear that right now, right? I don't want to hear that. He said, hey, I just need to tell you, I don't think you're out of the woods yet. I'll never forget that. We go to the step-down unit, and truly, I thank the Aggie Network. We get to his room. It's about 2 a.m. in the morning. This doctor comes in. She starts checking, just doing routine checkup stuff, right? And I noticed on her hand an Aggie ring, right? So what does any good Aggie do? Did you graduate A&M, right? What year? We start playing that game, right? You start playing the game that you'll play the rest of your life. What year's graduate? Cool. You know this person, right? And what it did is it allowed her to stay in her room just a little bit longer. By that time, Pierce's foot twitched, and she said, I think he's having a seizure. If he does it again, we're going to take him down to the ICU. And he twitched again. So she pressed the button. They take us back down to the ICU. We see the same doctor again. Say, hey, we're back. Go in there. If you know anything about a seizure, if you have one that lasts more than 5 minutes, you're going to sustain some type of brain damage, right? Pierce seized for 18 hours straight before they put him into a medically induced coma. He was in a coma 12 days. We were in the hospital 75 days. And when we finally left the hospital 75 days later, I left with a different son. Pierce is now nonverbal. I haven't heard him talk since February 3rd, 2017. He's deaf in both ears. He's epileptic. He has about 100 seizures a day. He's in a wheelchair, as you saw. Mental capacity, about a 6-month-old. But he is the happiest boy that you'll ever meet in your life. He sees the world the way that you and I should see the world, but unfortunately we don't. He doesn't see your skin color. He doesn't see your income. He doesn't care what car you drive. He doesn't care what your major is. He doesn't care who your parents are. He doesn't care about that stuff. He just wants to hang out with you. If we could all live life that way, man, how amazing would humanity be? But our life got turned upside down. All of a sudden, I have a special needs kid that I didn't have 75 days prior to that. What do you do? What do we do? We started just taking one day at a time, one foot in front of the other. Led us down therapies and led us down meeting different people. But one thing that always had stayed pre-brain injury and post-brain injury with Pierce is his obsession and love of construction equipment and garbage trucks. So about 2018, as a dad who's still grieving, still trying to figure out what to do with this story, I came home and I told Melissa, I said, I've got it. What does any rational thinking, level-headed, business-minded dad do when your son gets sick? You build a theme park, right? I said, we're going to build a theme park. Not only are we going to build a theme park, we're going to let kids operate real construction equipment. We're going to let them drive real excavators, real skid steers, real UTVs, And I think they only need to be about 3 years old. I said, we're going to eat. And guys, here's what I'm going to tell you. It cost me nothing to dream that ridiculous dream. It cost me nothing to work on it. It cost me nothing to talk to people about it. It cost me nothing, maybe my reputation, but it cost me nothing to dream crazy dreams. And so I'm asking you today, before life becomes a fork in the road, and maybe you're at it. Maybe you're at one of those forks in the road. Maybe you're about to graduate and that feels like a fork in the road. Maybe you've been doing this idea and you feel like, do I need to shut it down and keep going? Maybe you're already there at the fork in the road. But my challenge to you today is dream crazy dreams because it's free. My second point today, operate out of imagination, not memory. Memory can be a powerful tool. Memory can tell you to don't touch the burning stove, right? Like memory tells you that's hot, don't do that again. Memory can also be your worst critic. You're sitting here today and you're going, Jacob, I got it. Yeah, cool. You want me to dream crazy dreams? Awesome, sounds great. You built a theme park, cool. But you don't understand. You don't understand, I don't have any money. You don't understand, I got student loans up to my eyeballs. You don't understand who my parents are. You don't understand they'll never go for that. You don't understand where I was from. You don't understand this, that, and the other. You're right, I don't. But I do know if we let memory serve as our excuse our entire time, you will never do anything. So here we are with a crazy idea, right? We're going to build a theme park. We're going to let kids operate real construction equipment. There's a couple people here in the room that heard this early on in 2019. Guys, I was so confident I was going to go raise about $5 million. I even told them it was going to take me 6 months. 6 months. That's all it was going to take me. Very confident in that. 6 months. I can raise $5 million, 6 months. Everybody's going to get on with this idea, right? Everybody's going to say, Jacob, I've been waiting for you to show up. I've got my checkbook ready. Where have you been my whole life, right? That's how it's going to go in my head. I need you to hear me on this. 248 meetings. There's not 248 of you in this room. 248 meetings that told me no before I got yeses. 248 individual meetings where I sit and pour my heart and soul out to you, tell you a whole business plan for whatever reason under the sun for you to tell me no. You wake up, you do it again. You get done with breakfast, you go do it for lunch. You get done with lunch, you go do it for coffee. Get done with coffee, you go do it for dinner. Get done with dinner, you go do it for happy hour. And one after the other, you build up 248 no's. Memory says, just shut it down, dude. Clearly, the market has spoken, right? Clearly, the experts have spoken. 248 means stop, right? But imagination says, if I just find the right group of people, it'll work. Imagination says, I know that kids love construction equipment. I know that if I let a kid operate it, they will love it. I know it'll work. So imagination just keeps you going. And so today, as you're sitting here and you're replaying, you're going, yeah, I got it, but you don't understand. I had this professor last semester that told me I wasn't smart enough. Or I had this really, really smart management professor, no offense to management professors in the room, that said, hey, it's a good idea, but it really won't work. There was also another guy who had his Yale management professor tell him his idea wasn't going to work. His name's Fred Smith. He presented to him this crazy idea called FedEx. His management professor said it was never going to work. One of the dumbest ideas he's ever heard. Thank goodness Fred Smith did not listen to that person, right? You and I would never get mail. Memory will continue to shut you down, right? Memory will say, hey, Jacob, 248 people are a lot smarter than you are. And they are. By definition, those people were, for the most part, a lot smarter than I was. So today, as you're sitting here and you're replaying, oh, my parents said I can't do that. My brother, my sister said I can't do that. Professor, mentor, whoever it may be, whoever cuts you the deepest. I had a boss tell me the day I quit to go start my cleaning company. He said, before you got here, I'm going to tell you one thing. I'm going to call you in 8 years. I'll never forget it. I'm going to call you in 8 years. You're going to start 8 companies, and all 8 are going to be failures. You get out of my office. When you're pitching 248 people, and you got that in the back of your mind, it's real easy to lean into it. It's real easy to go, yeah, he was right. So I'm here today to encourage you that they're not right. I'm here to tell you that people are wrong sometimes. Even the people we love the most are wrong sometimes. Sometimes they're doing it out of love, they think, but really they're doing it out of their own fear. And so today I want to challenge you to try your best to push that memory aside. and dream and think about the impossible. So here we are, we raised the money. Finally got enough money to open the doors, right? Man, we're here. 2022, March 17th. It's going to be our grand opening day, guys. Grand opening. I've been pitching this concept since 2019. Here we are. We've survived 248 investors says no. We've survived COVID. We've survived everything. And here we are, grand opening. We have done it. Praise Jesus. It's going to be the greatest day ever, right? Guys, there's two people in theme park history that have documented, disastrous, only word, grand openings. Walt Disney and Jacob Robinson. So thank you. I keep good company, right? We got the park. We're ready to get it open, right? Cut the ribbon. Let's do this thing. And guys, when I say it was an epic failure, that would not be the right word to describe how bad it was. We ended that day. Two things happened that day. I shut the park down. Not like, hey, we're closed for business for the day. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Like, close it down. I don't know when we're going to open it again because that was so bad. We cannot do this again tomorrow. Bad. We were overrun with people. We didn't have enough machines ready. The average wait that day was 1 hour and 45 minutes. It's not good if you have a 3-year-old, right? It's a long line, right? You can wait that long at Disney, but that's Disney, right? We're not Disney. We just shut it down. Guys, these are newspaper clippings and a helicopter shot from that day. That's how bad it was. We had helicopters flying around, all right? New Katy theme park, Dig World closes for second grand opening. Dig World closes due to machine capacity. Dig World closes abruptly after grand opening. Yeah, abruptly, like 4 hours after grand opening, we closed it down, right? Because it was that bad. Shut it down. I don't know when we're going to open again. Guys, we started at a, listen to me, 1.7 Google rating. You have to work hard to be that bad. Because at least your grandma is going to give you a 3-star. 1.7. That's how bad it was. Could not have been worse. I go home that night. Melissa was standing here. She'll tell you this 2 times in our lives that she thought she lost me. The day Pierce got sick and the day grand opening was. She said, I thought I lost you. Light went out in your eyes. Thought you were done. Because I'd like to stand up here today and tell you I went home that night and I said, we'll fight the good fight and we'll come back tomorrow. We're going to crush it. I didn't know what we were going to do. I didn't know how to get out of this mess. I didn't know how to get the park open again. We go back in the next day and we started putting one foot in front of the other. We started to figure it out. But guys, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I would be lying to you if I didn't have 248 investors in my head. And just go, man, they were right. Great job. You proved all of them right. In a matter of 4 hours, you proved 248 people correct. You didn't know what you were doing. You couldn't do it. It was a disaster. It's documented now. It's out there forever, right? Imagination says, well, what if we figured it out? We've come this far. What if we fixed it? What if we kept going? And what if we tried to put one foot in front of the other and we tried to get the park open again? What would happen then? And we did it. We got the park open again. We've been open ever since, thank goodness. And we started going week after week after week, and we started to see more people and more birthday parties, and it started growing, and it started working, and started making money. And then a couple years later, I get an email. I was standing in my office, I get an email. Hey, Jacob, do you want to be on season 16 of Shark Tank? What do you do when you see that email? You delete it. I said, delete? That's spam, clearly, right? I'm not going to click on that link. I know better than that. Next day, email. Hey, Jacob, we'd love to have you on season 16 of Shark Tank. Delete. Okay. They email my personal account. Hey, Jacob, we're trying to get a hold of you. We'd love to have you on season 16 of Shark Tank. Fine. Sure. You can call me. Here's my cell phone number. So call me. Hey, Jacob, this is Ashley from Shark Tank. I'm trying to get you on the show. We'd love to have you on season 16 of Shark Tank. We've been following Dig World. We've been following your story. We've been following the success it's had. We'd love to have you on the show. Would you want to come on Shark Tank? And I'd love to stand here today, and I thought, yeah, let's do it. You know what had happened, though? Memory started to come in. Jacob, why on God's green earth would you go let 5 people that you don't know, that you don't need, rip you apart? You've done that 248 times. Why do it 5 more? Why do it on national television? Why be a meme or a TikTok reel the rest of your life for your kids to see? Why? You already got Pepsi to be remembered by. Why do you need another? Don't do that. Just put head down. Say thanks, but no thanks, right? I said, I'll think about it. Go to the kitchen. I tell Melissa, I said, hey, crazy. Shark Tank wants me to be on a TV show. You said yes, right? No. You were there for the grand opening, right? You remember that? Why would I want to go talk about that ever again? Yeah, but what could happen? Think about it. You could go on national television and tell Pierce's story. Think about it. You could go on national television. What if they said yes? Think about it. This could be the beginning of serious growth. Yeah, that's right. And imagination starts to take over and memory starts to fade away. Imagination starts to go, what if they said yes? What if we could build multiple dig worlds because of this? What if I get to go on and just tell his story? Is that worth it? So today, as you go throughout the day, my plea to you is do your best. Do your best to take all those negative thoughts and those memories and push them aside. You'll be far better for it, I promise. To just for one day, sit in the wild imagination of what could be. Last point, walk with elephants. Drayton said, Jacob, you got to walk with elephants. I said, Drayton, what does that mean? He said, you got to find big people doing big things and you got to walk with them. So we went on the show. We got a deal. You guys know these guys on the right here, Dude Perfect. We just secured a national partnership with Dude Perfect. We just secured a national partnership with Caterpillar. Guys, listen, this is what's crazy. Caterpillar has 3 national partnerships. Now I'm talking like the company Caterpillar, right? Major League Baseball, NHL, and Dig World. Which of these does not fit, right? That's crazy. But we asked, hey, would y'all want to do a deal together? We asked Dude Perfect, hey, would y'all want to create a deal? We have our Dude Perfect section at every Dig World we build going forward. Yeah, let's do it. Hey, Robert, you want to be part of the deal? Yeah, let's do it. Guys, here's the deal. A&M asks me all the time to come back and speak about networking. We're big on networking here. I don't know if you know that at A&M, right? That hasn't been pounded over your head over the last however many years you've been here or even before you get here. We believe in the power of networking for a lot of reasons because it actually works. And we actually take care of our own. And so students come and ask me all the time, how do I network? How do I network? How do I go talk to that CEO that I want to go talk to? How do I talk to that chief marketing officer I want to talk to? How do I do it? Here's the deal. I'm going to tell you a secret. You just ask. That's it. That's it. They're going to give you 3 answers. Okay? I'm going to get them to you right now. No. Cool. You didn't want to meet with them anyways. Not right now. Great. Put it in your phone to follow up with them in 6 months. Or yes. That's it. More or less, those are the only 3 responses you're going to get. So I've taken away the hard part for you. The worst you're going to get is a no. And you know what you do? Delete. And you move on. But you asked. But if you don't find big people doing big things, it's going to be a lonely journey. I'm all for bringing great people around you. Some of them are here today. Because you are not the smartest person in the room. If you are, what's the saying? Change rooms, right? If you're the smartest person in this room, you need to go find another room. But you need to surround yourself with the collective people that are pushing you forward constantly. So find big people doing big things and walk with them. So guys, as you go out throughout today, my hope and my prayer is that you dream crazy dreams, is that you forget the memory of old and that you chase your imagination. And then today you start thinking about the elephants that you want to walk with. That would be a successful day today for you. Here's my contact information. I'm here for you. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to swap emails back and forth. The other speakers today do the same. But genuinely, my heart of hearts, it's an honor to be here today. Genuinely, I'm proud of you for being here today. It's not easy, right? You can go do 1,000 things today. You can head home early, it's holiday weekend, but you chose to be here today to scratch that itch of entrepreneurship. My hope and prayer is that you leave today with a lot of clarity, a lot of motivation, a lot of excitement for what's ahead. God bless and gig 'em.